Hello everyone and welcome to New Horizons Racing League Division 2. I'm your host Connor. We're here for round 3 of our little custom made championship for these guys. It is China. We are about just over 20 miles away from downtown in Shanghai around the 16 corner circuit with a length of 5.4 kilometers, or for us Western spies that is 3.3 miles. We're going to be here for 29 laps of the circuit today. Should be done within the 45-minute race period. Obviously, Wouter Bascher and his Sauber already setting the fastest time of a 1:32.2, and following on from his reasonably good form so far in the league, I think he's already scored podiums on every race so far. Collins pipping in a time of a 1:32.3. And Bradley initially setting the fastest time early on with a 1:35.6, and Deranged, the Division 1 driver that's finally managed to make his way into Division 2 for his debut, does a 1:36.7. Black Prodigy also setting a 1:33.8. It's good stuff from everyone so far. 7 drivers, still slightly disheartening, but we know where some drivers are, and we're already in talks with getting some people into the division to try and give these guys more of a challenge and hopefully some more entertaining battles on track. A little bit about the circuit, with it being 3.8 miles long. It was constructed, but finished in 2004, and where it made its debut, the first circuit nature, what am I thinking of? It joined the calendar alongside Bahrain, with Bahrain being at the start of the season, but at that time China was towards the end of the season. A reshuffle of the calendar since then has put China traditionally at the start of the season, and has always thrown up some interesting races. And from what I've looked into, not every time the pole sitter has gone on to win. You're probably looking at guys even in 6th place on the grid going on to win the race. So let's see who we've got here tonight. Obviously Wouter Bascher in the Sauber, Collins in the Mercedes, Slavkin Robo, just Robot Boy, changing his gamer tag to something I believe is highly questionable in the Renault. Black Prodigy sticking with his gamer tag for today, is his teammate alongside him for place at the moment. Bradley in the Ferrari, who is missing his teammate today. Deranged making his debut in the Force India, and Broke Gorilla, ex Division 1 driver, making his Division 2 debut in the Toro Rosso. Oh, who's that gone? Oh, it was a mistake from Deranged. I think you did pretty well to get out of the way there, mate. See, I don't think there's anything broken with that car. By the looks of it, he's got plenty of clear track behind him. Sector 1, who else is that? Oh, that's probably for Deranged anyway. Let's see who we've got. Who can we ride on board with? Let's ride on board with Slav. Can't believe I have to call that now. Still, I would highly question your commitment to this lap with an ERS that is that low on power, mate. I highly suggest backing off and recharging and giving it another run. But with an overcast qualifying today, we are expecting, from what I've heard before recording commences, that the race will be dry, but we're expecting rain later on in the race. I know these weather reports still aren't even 100% reliable, even in the Formula 1 games, but I don't even know how heavy the rain's going to be, so it's going to be a little bit of a roulette wheel, in my opinion, to who's going to win this race. But yeah, hopefully it should be quite good. China being one of those circuits where you need, it's how would you say, difficult in terms of, not strategy in terms of when to pit, but it depends what kind of car setup you're going for. You've got the long sweeping corners that require as much downforce as possible for the second sector, but sectors 1 and 3 are traditionally very low downforce because they've got very long straights. China actually having the longest single straight in Formula 1, which is still disputed by Abu Dhabi. From when I visited Abu Dhabi, I think they said that Shanghai's straight was 1 metre longer, but they weren't telling any of the tourists that. So riding on board Bradley was coming through the second sector. Pretty tidy line. I would have personally carried a bit more speed through there. I just missed the apex. Straighten the car up. I think this car, you're not going to get much of a slipstream from riding in the dirty air of a car that's going about 30 miles an hour. Yeah, a little trick I learned through the turn of 14, which is the long snail section kind of corner, is coming at the exit of the chicane before in 3rd gear. If you short shift up through 4th and 5th, you get the perfect amount of traction, because the loads put on the tyres is unbelievable. Which is why setup around here is so crucial. You can gain so much time just by being in a straight line, but you might not actually get through the second sector, or you can easily do the second sector, but you'll be a sitting duck in the straight. So this is completely unpredictable with what I think will happen here today. Right on board. Where was that? That's Votive getting quite close to the Ferrari. Oh, they touch. Whether that'll be a steward's inquiry or not, I don't know, but there is definitely damage to the Sauber. Going to turn 4, which I looked into as well. It's I don't know if it's the high. No, it's definitely not the highest speed corner on the calendar, but it's the fastest corner on the circuit that you actually come up into to try and carry your speed through. Collins, surprisingly, is the fastest time on the 132.1 on the Ultra Softs. Let me just try and see what tyres everyone's got on. Softs and Ultra. I think the guys running Softs will be trying to go as long as they can until the rain hits, but that's if it does and how heavy it hits, because with this game, even if it's rain within the last 6 laps or any more than that, then it's not actually worth pitting, because yeah, it will rain, but it's that crucial crossover point that if rain is expected towards the end, it will never seem to come when everyone wants it. See, oh, he's gone to the pits, has abandoned that. Yellow flag, is that Broke Gorilla going slowly? Or was that Bradley messing up the pit lane? So we're on board with the Toro Rosso driver. Steady, I think, is the word for that setup. There's not a lot of rear end action at all, but by the looks of it, he could do with just a little bit more oversteer. I think he actually lost it down that straight. Slav King Robo opting for the medium tyres. He's probably within a risk of actually qualifying last, because even though that's his time, he will not be starting on the mediums unless he betters his time. You can see the strategy is really starting to play out here so far. Which is the final corner for Broke. Oh, I believe that's an invalidated lap. I'm not expecting him to improve. Yeah, that lap was invalid. He's got enough fuel and he's got enough ERS to go again as we head into the final 5 minutes of the session. Making a complete mess of turn 2. Just get your bearings, mate, and head back onto the circuit. You'll be just fine. Plenty of time to get a few more laps in. So I'm on board with Robot to see what he can do on the medium tyres. There's a yellow flag set on sector 2. That might be... yeah, he's just not happy at the moment. That car is not settling very well to the circuit. Just right on board with Robo. Solid performance so far. Probably the most stable car all day. You don't want to touch the outside curb whatsoever, because that curb just seems to be like glue. You touch it, it will spit you the way you do not want to go, and I can assure you it's not the way back to the circuit. You'll be off into Narnia if you mount that curb. Misses the apex though. I think with the turn 15 hairpin you actually need to get a late apex turn in. Rather than a bit of curb on the exit. Don't think he improves his time. Just see the gap between everyone. Collins actually only just set in the fastest time by just over a tenth. Broke Gorilla doing quite well to be within them for half a second. The Robot really needs to pull his finger out if he expects any more from these tyres, because the more laps, if he does go faster on these tyres, then it's going to be riding on slightly worn rubber for the start of the race. Somebody of his teammate coming down the longest single straight in F1. I said longest single straight because it is just the longest straight piece of tarmac. In terms of actual top speed and flat out length, then it is Baku, as we went to last week. But Baku has that weird left-right chicane bit about a third of the way down the straight. Unless if Prodigy can go for another set of tyres in time, I don't see how he can be any faster. Let's run board of Robot though, see if he is going any faster on his tyres. I don't think it's faster. Definitely, yeah, I think he knows that as well. If anything, mate, I'd say your best shot is probably staying on the soft tyres for the start of the race. Another thing that I like about with the fact that we have this races, what I like is that our Chinese race for Division 2 is actually fitted in perfectly. Without my knowledge, with the actual 1000th Grand Prix happening this Sunday. So at least I've got something this weekend to see which race was better. I think that's a smart decision from everyone else going opting for the ultra softs. Robot still the only driver to experiment with any other type of tyre. Sales corner. That's not a bad apex. You want to be getting on the curb, or that you really want to be on the right hand side for that corner, and just as the curb runs out, that's your turning in point. This corner you need to be hugging the curb all the way around, but not necessarily touching it. Get as close as an apex as you can, and try and make that double left-hander just a one constant curve. You don't want to be taking it as two separate apexes. Shift down into second gear for this corner, then third on the exit, and then short shift to fourth about halfway around the corner, then up into fifth, and that will give you the best traction for coming down onto the long straight. I'm just trying to see who's actually on circuit at the moment. Let's run forward with Votive, see if he can challenge Collins for race. I don't know, that he may have invalidated his lap doing that, but we'll run board with him anyway. Nah, I think he's weaving because he's angry. I think he knows what he's done. Oh no! Why is he crashed out? We've gone to the blank screen. I believe that's the end of qualifying. If so, then Collins gets his second pole. Oh god, don't quote me on that, but yeah, it's Collins on pole in the Mercedes. Alongside him on the grid is Votibasher in the Sauber. Broke Gorilla third place of Red Bull, South King Robo in the Renault alongside his teammate Black Prodigy in 5th, Bradley in 6th with Ferrari, and Deranged on his Division 2 debut 7th in the Force India. I'll see you guys back in the race.